Hey guys, welcome back to the group view. This is Alejandro,
I'm Carlos.
I'm Julian. Welcome back, guys.
and we got Matt up in the back.
What's going on?
Hope everybody's had a great week, great weekend in general. Today we're just gonna have a free-flowing conversation. We're gonna talk about happiness. Nothing specific, but just gonna touch on basically all the components of happiness. Maybe how we feel, what makes us happy. Maybe that might give you guys some insight on what makes you guys happy. Anybody wanna set it off? Anything specific on happiness?
Go ahead, Julian.
All right. So, like, personally to me, I think in order to, like, fully be happy, you got to figure it out. Because, I mean, a lot of people, they say they're happy, but I don't think they know what makes them happy. And I don't think it's an easy thing to figure out. It's kind of complicated when you really think about it because we're so complex beings. I mean, you know, what brings us happiness one day or what makes us happy one day, the next day might not. Or maybe it does, but not in the same result as it did before. So it's so hard to pinpoint what makes us happy. But I think the best way to break it down is as long as you have the financial stability to cover all your needs, and I'm talking about needs, not luxury, your needs, that helps. And then figuring out and doing activities that help promote happiness in your life. So, for example, if that's traveling, if that's spending time with family, in my case, playing football, European, not American, you know, stuff like that, that brings happiness. So doing stuff like that. I don't know. Have you guys ever give thought of like what brings happiness to you?
I think that so like when I think about happiness, right? Since graduating from college, since like being done with, you know, college soccer and all that, like I've struggled with figuring out what really brings happiness to my life. I think like for us, and I think we all can relate to it, like soccer has been such a big part of our life that like that has been our happiness. You know, it's the talk of, you know, us saying, you know, when you're playing, you forget about everything and anything that is going on, and that's
I feel
that's
that.
like what brings happiness. And so like since graduating, since being done with soccer, I've had to like try to figure out what else, you know, like what hobbies, what things. And it's been hard. I mean, like going to the gym for me is, you know, sort of my second happiness, but some days is rough. Some days is like, I don't want to do this.
Right.
So it's like, you know, just figuring out, because we go through our day to day that is like, you know, Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. By the time you get home, especially in the winter, it's like dark out and that's it.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
just, like,
it's a bit
figuring out.
depressing in the winter, especially.
It is. And so figuring out like happiness, like to me, happiness is like this weekend, having a 3-day weekend.
Right.
That's good.
That
Well,
to me
that's
is
cool.
happiness, you know.
for you,
But
I don't know.
like for me, happiness is like just staying home and just like watching TV all day, watching different shows. That to me is happiness.
Oh, what show you watching right now?
Nah, I can't say it, but yeah, to me. I'm watching you, the show you, not you.
Yeah, that's
No,
a good
but it's
show.
like, you know, you just like figuring out what. Of course, after like 3 or 4 days at home, then
It
You
gets
gotta
a little
find something else.
wanna-
Yeah.
gets a little tiring.
But it's tough. It's tough to like really figure out what brings happiness to your life. You know, especially like if you're like us that has had something that has been so consistent
Yeah.
and that has like brought such happiness and like it's been everything for us.
Yeah.
And then like cutting that off, or at least slowing down. For some of us, slowing down. For others, you know, like completely cutting it off. It's like, okay, what else can I start doing that is gonna bring happiness into my life? Because it's hard. It's hard for everything. It's
No,
hard,
it
you
is.
know,
That's a tough thing, man.
work wise. It's hard with anything, because like even finding the job that brings you happiness, I
Right.
haven't been able to. I can like admit that I haven't been able to.
Yeah.
I have good
Yeah, that's
days that
true.
I'm like, you know what, like I like this, I like what I'm doing, but then I have days that I'm just like,
No, you
I
can't
wanna
take
quit.
it anymore. Right.
I want to quit. I want to send that email. So it's, no, seriously, because then it's like, you know, you're working somewhere, money is all right, but is money really happiness at the end?
No,
of
it's definitely not. At the end of the day, it's not. Obviously, for people that don't have it, they're obviously gonna be like, yeah,
We
of
think
course
that-
it's
we
gonna
think
right.
that, yeah, for,
That's
like,
usually like I feel like that's a really big misconception.
I mean, like I want to find out. So I want to like get a lot of money.
No,
and
of
then
course.
find
I mean,
out
hey.
if it
Nah,
brings-
nah,
if
me
it brings
too.
me
Nah,
happiness.
but like,
So let me be the guinea pig of it.
nah, like I said though in the beginning, like I think if you're like destitute and broke, money's gonna make a difference.
Of course.
But then there's a cutoff. At a certain point, once you have, like I said, once you have, I think, all your needs covered, I don't think extra money's really gonna.
So
make
what's
it.
like the cutoff? Like 100K?
I mean, again, it's different for everybody though. But I mean, there was a study that was done that said the utility you receive after 70K gross is not the same. And by utility, they mean happiness. So they were saying that, and this is across all America. Obviously, it might be different for us because we're in New York. It's a little more expensive. But 70K is like that salary where anything above that, you don't feel any more happy, really. Obviously, you know, it varies from person to person.
Yeah,
but,
of course.
But there's really no extra happiness from that. And I can agree with that.
I can agree with it too. I think like, so the more money that you get, it's weird because like the less money that you get, you make it work.
That's true.
But then as you're getting paid more and more, your lifestyle changes without you even realizing.
No,
and
and other things just become irrelevant.
Right,
Like
but it's
you're not looking at, you know, like
but then
different
you're like,
prices and stuff
you're
like
like,
that.
damn, like where, you know, how was I able to do it with that amount and then with this amount now? Like,
Yeah.
it's been tough.
Because we're creatures of habit, man. Like there's that saying that, you know, we spend it almost as quick as we make it.
Yeah,
And that's really how it is. I mean,
so true.
I think everybody is like that, at least in the beginning. Obviously, like once you get used to or acclimated to being, like, I guess, successful or having an abundance of money, you probably have more control over it. But like, I know, for example, if I started making like 150K right now, it would be a problem. I would spend it a lot, like quick.
On us?
On everybody, on anything, man. And then it would
Alright.
really hit me after
You guys
a
heard it
while.
here first. So.
Nah, but I'm saying because we're creatures of habit, and it's like once it's so hard to like control it because you're not used to it. It's like something you probably never had, or in case you were rich and then went broke and then went rich again.
Yeah.
You know, you lost that. So it's like it's crazy to try to figure out
Or starting
how to
from-
control it.
If you're starting from rich or if you're starting from broke.
Oh yeah, no,
So
I
it's
mean
different,
and
yeah.
vice versa.
It's different
too,
levels
like,
of
yeah.
happiness. People value happiness differently, right?
Yeah. And like, but like work wise, it's like, it's difficult because, yeah, everybody says, you know, like find something that makes you happy. Like if we conduct a study.
What does that even mean?
Like if we conduct a study, how many people out there really, there's a lot of people that fake it. And like, yo, I love calling out on people, you know, like I go to meetings and stuff and everybody's like, I just love my job. It's just, I love it. The feeling, it's BS. You can tell that it's BS. Like that's how I feel.
think people,
Because I'm sitting there and in my mind, I'm like, I know you don't.
I think people,
I know that you don't.
and it's true. You see that a lot.
You see them walking out the door and they're like slamming on everything.
Right,
Like,
right.
screw this, screw that.
I think
Yeah.
I think when a person's valued, it's different. So I think like you said, like maybe it's just in that moment they seem like they're happy,
Right.
but realistically they're not. But it could just be that they see that they're providing value to something, and people seek value.
Right.
So in that moment they might be happy about
Right.
it and they might love it. But I don't know. You know, seeking true happiness is.
Right.
I feel like that's the hardest thing.
Well,
That's
you just said keyword true happiness. Like we're not talking about like obviously we're humans and we're gonna have emotions. Let's not get it mixed up with happiness and then having like different emotions. Like obviously we can't just have a smile on our face 24/7. It's just not gonna happen, right?
Right,
Unless
but I
you're-
think, but I think having an optimistic attitude is I think
Oh,
I think
100%.
that's possible.
It is.
But in terms of like for work,
Don't do that. Don't do that.
in terms of work and happiness, I think that's a little bit different. Or happiness in general,
I
it's
mean,
different. It's just based on value and
Yeah.
like what value you bring to work or what value you have in your life and things like that.
So like my input on this whole thing, I feel honestly like true happiness. You can probably find true happiness. You got to have a balance in your life, honestly, in general. Your personal life, your work life, anything from your finances to the way you feel about yourself. If you're 300 pounds, most likely you're not going to be happy, like the way you look and everything like that. So just like honestly,
there's
like
definitely self
little things. I know, but I'm saying just little things like that add up to like a whole. You know what I mean? I feel like that's kind of like how you
Yeah,
find
but
true
no one's
happiness.
cracked it because we're all seeking that. I feel like no one can crack that. There's
No,
always
but I mean, you could
something that's
definitely get
off.
better
No,
at
but you
certain
could-
things,
True-
and
True
no,
happiness.
you could
Yeah,
definitely have a
something.
that.
Like
I feel like
complete
I feel like to
feeling.
find true happiness, you got to find that balance,
I
just
think-
in general,
right. I think
which
you
is
could
hard.
I think you
I
can
mean,
be
it's
a
really
happy
hard.
person.
Look, I think like some people do find it, and as though the people that like we say, find something that makes you happy. So I have friends, like who are like personal trainers, who are artists or things like that, and it's
but-
what they
but
like.
the-
If we were professional soccer players, I feel like if I was, I would have been super happy. I would have been like, so, and there are some players out there that
Yeah, but there's also I don't think it's just like you
We-
could, like if you're this, then you're happy.
No,
What?
I agree with
No,
Prano.
that's
No, but
definitely
hold
not
on.
it.
Sorry to
Yeah.
cut you off,
I don't
guys.
think
But
so,
no.
yeah.
I agree with Matt. But the thing is, how many actual professional athletes or whatever that they're actually miserable for whatever X reason?
I mean,
They're-
yeah,
sure.
well,
they
some of
haven't
that for whatever
found.
reason,
And again,
but-
we can't just like people have that huge misconception that it's like, oh, if I'm successful or if I have a ton of money or if I have the best job in the world because he pays me whatever it is in a year, blah blah blah. I feel like all this stuff is not really gonna make you happy.
I don't think it's things though. I don't.
That's what I'm saying. Like
for
you can't
sports,
confuse it
I
with
don't think that's-
materialistic
but I don't
things.
think that's what they're talking about. I think they're just saying because they love the sport so much that
Right,
they have
exactly.
the opportunity
Right.
to do
Yeah.
it. That would bring happiness in their life immediately.
I
Immediately, right.
Yeah, and I'm not even talking about
But
the
you don't-
paycheck.
but
I'm
you
talking
don't-
about
about the
just paying
paycheck, dude.
professionally. Like that
Yeah,
would
but
be
you-
amazing.
But you don't think just being more involved in soccer would make you happy?
Like
that's-
what, though?
Isn't
Like
that a
what?
step to happiness?
But like, what do
I
you
was
mean more
I was
involved,
thinking
man?
about that too. Like I was thinking about, like I've
Could
had
be
to,
coaching, could be recruiting,
Right,
could
exactly.
be playing, teaching.
Right.
I've had like moments, and we even talked about it that
I don't
like
know.
I thought about that. What if I went towards this? And then that's like risk taking and all of that. And some people have it in them, some people don't, and I don't really have it in me to
Take a risk.
take risks like that.
But then that's where money and value comes into
right?
play.
Yeah.
Because it's now if you don't have the means, if you think it might take a risk on your personal or financial situation, now all of a sudden happiness is put on hold. So it's like
I mean, that's sadly the world we live in.
So-
man. I mean, it's
it
totally
really
is.
so you're
It really
always
is. Yeah.
just searching. It's
And then let
Or
me
even,
ask
like,
you.
if you happen to be in a position where finances are big or a key factor, you know what I mean?
Or even when it's like let's say you apply for 2 different jobs, right? And the one job that you really see yourself working at doesn't pay well, and the job that you really don't see yourself working, it just pays better. People go towards the one that doesn't, that doesn't really make you happy and doesn't really fit
Yeah,
with
but
who
it
you
pays
are.
more.
because
Can
it
I
pays-
suck this up? I think I can suck
Right.
this up. And then they just do it.
But that's the society and the life that we live that is like, I just gotta go towards the money. I just gotta go towards,
Yeah.
and it's so hard. And I can admit that I've been there. Last
mean,
year, I had to make the decision. I had to make the decision of like, I think I would love to be here and do this, but it just doesn't pay well. So then I'm gonna go towards this. I'll suck it up, take the experience, and keep it moving. And that's, and it's what we said. You just gotta make the best out of it. I'm not saying that I hate my job, but I have days that I'm like, can't take this. But then I keep a smile on my face and, just try to show people like, look, I'm here to work, take the experience and
Get things done. Yeah. And
that's
try
what,
and
that's
add
what we gotta
value
do.
to your
Yeah,
work.
you gotta like, it's easier said than done, but like you gotta not only just be miserable, not just keep yourself down, but you gotta like stop and think about, all right, I'm here. I gotta make the best out of it. I gotta take things from this experience, and I gotta give things to this experience, and then better myself.
And you also have to humble yourself along the way
You have
because
to.
there's people in worse situations than you are.
You really do.
So
Yeah.
it's
That's-
like like
yeah.
an unfortunate kind of thing.
That's like the stuff that we have always been talking about. Like when you even though you can always complain about anything. Like we're human beings. It's part of us to complain about things. But then if you have that moment of like, okay, you know what? It could have been worse. I could have been in a tougher situation. I could have, you know how many stories out there that you hear about, people just losing their jobs. Like
right.
I
Well,
can
that's-
imagine
yeah.
myself like just tomorrow, my boss being like, "All right, you're fired," and then not being able to pick myself up and not being able to find another position, and
Right.
that's when then it becomes the whole like you lose your job, you lose your car, you lose your house, you lose.
Right. And I think it juggles in a lot of people's heads in the
Yeah.
workforce, like
Yeah.
people are always looking to like prove their worth and then, get the next promotion.
Yeah.
And, I feel like it's tough because it's like, young millennials or even people who are stuck in a position and they want to push forward and get to
Right.
the next part of their career. And everybody says like, oh, it's, you got to crush it. You got to like, this is your time to really work.
Yeah.
And then you may not get a promotion, but then that's when you have to reflect and say, you know what, like I didn't get the promotion, but
Yeah.
I'm well off. I'm healthy.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's like
Yeah.
if you can take like 2 days to just think about that
Yeah.
and then come back, you're a little bit happier
Right.
when you go back. So it's
So I mean, I
Yeah.
think because we've been talking a lot about jobs, but I think another key component to being like true happiness again, I think is just having an understanding for yourself, which comes from like I don't want to say spiritual, like in terms of religion, but spiritual in terms of actually understanding you as like a being and knowing, okay, look, like I'm grateful for what I have. I should be thankful for what I have. I should appreciate it. Because like you said, you're going to come back to every day in a more appreciative sense, which is going to bring you more happiness because you're going to recognize that, yeah, you might not be where you want to be, but you're in a great spot. So I think that's another key component that a lot of people overlook. And that's why I don't think that many people are truly happy, because none of them really sit down and like get in touch with themselves or maybe spend enough time with themselves to ask themselves the tough questions, which are like, am I actually in a spot where I'm okay? Like not complacent, not content, but just I'm doing well for myself. Yeah, I want more, and that's a good thing. If you want to keep driving and fighting forward and being determined to succeed in every way you can, that's great. But also congratulate yourself and appreciate how far you've come along.
right.
Because right
Yeah,
now,
think
I
that's a
mean,
good point.
all of us right now are in a place where we probably weren't a couple years ago or even a couple
Right.
months ago.
Yeah.
So that's already an accomplishment within itself.
Yep.
Right.
And I think we're so focused on like what I think we've all kept touching on that, which is like the what if this happened or what if we're in this position, and we're so caught up on that what if that we forget about the I have this, or
Right.
Right.
I'm in this right now, or I'm in this state. And I think you just have to, again, I don't want to say like pray or do what you do, like meditate, but connect with yourself. Maybe spending some alone time in the weekend or whenever you have free time to really just meditate and think about all the things you have right now that are amazing that you didn't have a couple months ago, a couple years ago, or whatever.
Right.
Right. So like I was gonna say, that actually leads on to the next thing, which I think for me, I think to really find true happiness, again, it doesn't go to like the materialistic things and all these other stuff. I think you really gotta just truly love yourself. If you really truly love yourself, I feel like everything, and then that brings again the whole balancing thing. I think everything's gonna go back into place. Everything's gonna kind of work out for you. Keep that positive mentality to move forward. You lose your job, hey, there's other jobs out there. You can
Yeah.
you can get up, and it's all about getting up. If you fall, get up and try again. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think failing is probably one of the best
Well,
things
that's-
you can do in life.
Yeah, I mean that's part of the process.
it's yeah.
But a lot of people,
you
people.
gotta fail to
No, but
to
no,
succeed.
but you're saying it like that.
It's crucial.
It sounds simple, right? But a lot of people fail, and then they feel
I
like
think
they're done.
People are afraid of failing.
People
Well,
are
some
not-
people
wanna
are.
be
People are
in-
not used to.
Right,
fail.
and then the
Yeah.
people that do
Yeah.
try and they fail, a lot of people just get stuck in a place, and then stuff starts going downhill for
Yeah.
them,
Yeah.
because they don't have that mentality. That's like, I can get up and I can do better, and there's a ton of options out there, that
I mean, but I think it comes back to what you said, which is loving yourself. Because I think
that's
if
the
you
main
do-
thing,
if you
honestly. I
actually
think that's
truly
the
love
main
yourself-
component.
I got it. I mean, if you truly love yourself,
Damn.
then you would be able to be like, when you hit those rough moments or you hit those down moments, that's when you'll be able to like bounce back because
Right.
you love yourself, you appreciate yourself, you don't beat up on yourself, and that's why there's a lot of people in the world that say they love themselves who are liars. They don't.
Well,
not at all.
right. So
You can say that maybe to like try to I'm calling out the bullshit because it's true. Not that many people love themselves.
right, but then again, sorry to cut you off, and I don't mean love yourself like praise yourself all the time, like I'm the best, blah blah blah, being selfish.
Why not?
No,
Why
not like that. not love yourself, but not in a selfish way. You know what I mean?
Right,
Huh?
yeah.
No,
Stay
yeah.
humble. And yeah.
I mean, well, I think everybody's gonna have their own way of truly loving themselves, but
Right.
yeah, like don't put other people down in the terms of making yourself feel
Right.
like you're loved. But like as I was saying, like a lot of people out there don't love themselves, like truly in the true essence of it, because they'll do that. They'll try to put other people down. They'll try to, belittle other people so they feel better, because maybe there's a void or there's an emptiness that they feel and that they need, or maybe there's certain things that
jealousy, self-confidence.
There's so much emotions that like
Careers.
most of us don't even understand that. It's just tough to truly love yourself. But once you truly do it, and I mean, I think we're all aspiring to love ourselves more and more, but it comes back to that honesty, man. I don't think that many people want to be honest with themselves and like look in the mirror, not physically, but if you have to physically look in the mirror, whatever, and actually ask yourself, like, do I love the person that I am? Am I the person that I feel like I should be or how I want to be? Or am I just putting up a front so I can please people that at the end of the day isn't really going to matter? Right. They're not going to be there for you forever.
And then that leads on to the next thing, which I was actually going to ask you guys. Because there's people that, they're trying to find that true happiness and trying to really be happy with their like inner selves, right?
Well, not that there's people, there's all of us.
Well, all of us, right? All of us, right? But then,
You're not?
But then some people, they're trying to please everyone else.
Yeah.
Right? You guys see where I'm going with this? So they're trying to please everybody else.
And forget about
And then
themselves.
they forget about themselves. Yeah. And that's also a problem. Like, I feel like a lot of people do that nowadays.
They do.
It's like, oh, I gotta please him. I gotta please her. I gotta make sure that, that I gotta keep my boss happy. I mean, obviously, to a certain extent and stuff like that. But it just, I don't know. I feel like a lot of people just gotta work on themselves more. As opposed to just pleasing everybody else.
And I think that comes back to what you said earlier, because it's so tough to like do that, because then I think people start thinking that they're selfish.
Right.
And like there's something I always say to myself, like I am selfish, because at the end of the day, if I'm not in a good spot, I can't help you out.
Yeah.
And I always told my wife this, like, you have to be selfish, because you can never be happy if you're concerned on what other people think or on other people's happiness. Like, it's a great quality to have, to be that compassionate and that, have that humanity in you. But that's not going to matter if, let's say, your world is burning. Right. You could put the fire out in somebody else's world and that might make you feel great. But if you're burning, you're burning.
Well, it's the human nature to compare to everyone, right? So we're all comparing against each other. So that's what it is. It's just everybody's inside.
No, it is. But I'm talking about like just like what he was saying, like trying to help somebody out to the point where you kind of neglect your own happiness or maybe your own well-being to help somebody else.
But then again, when we're talking about helping somebody else, I don't mean financially.
Or I mean, it could be financial.
It
just
could
helping
be
them anyway. We don't have to define
in any other way.
Like
but I mean, like, so we wanted to make this conversation also, like, we don't want anybody to feel like we're attacking anybody or like telling people what to do, but like we wanted to just share how we feel about happiness and where we are at personally. That maybe somebody can relate to it, maybe somebody may not, but it's just like sharing where we're at, what we were, because we're struggling with that too. I mean,
of course,
personally, I am still struggling with trying to figure out about happiness, what makes me happy. That's why I talk about, careers, jobs, all of that, hobbies. It's just like balancing everything out. It's so easy. Like, society and everything has built into us that it's like, you gotta give it your all at your job, and that's it. That has to be your it. No, it doesn't. Look, they will replace you within 2 seconds.
Oh, 100%.
So why don't you have the same attitude? Why don't you look 9 to 5? After 5, that's it. I'm not thinking about you until the next day.
Right. No, but no, it's 100% true.
I clock in, I won't think about you.
And a lot of times, sorry, Matt.
But I also don't think that there's anything wrong with getting happiness from the work effort that you put in. So like for, if you find value in the work that you're doing, I don't think that there's anything wrong.
Yeah, but some people just get lost.
Knowing the balance of it. Because some people may think, but the thing is, are you truly happy? Right. Or is just like some robotic?
I don't know, but some people like being in that. They like the grind. They like the work all the time.
That's where I call
they feel like they have.
That's where I call the BS, because they really don't.
No, it's true.
They really don't. At the end
Listen, I agree. I've
met a lot of people that is like, I love this, I love that. Right. But then like, you're super stressed out. You like freaking out about any little thing. And it's like,
but there's some people that revel in that, man.
There's some people who really like that stuff.
But that's what
I mean. There are obviously, yes.
No, but
sure.
is that
but not
truly,
everybody.
Is that truly how they are, or is that just like what it was built into them.
It might
Right.
be built into
That's-
them.
that's
It might be
what-
built into
I
it.
mean,
So then
yeah,
it's
I
not
mean,
the
yeah,
true
but if-
happiness, because then
It may not be
when
true
they-
happiness, but I think if it adds value to them, and they look at it and they say, you know what, I like being disrupted. I like this chaos. I like this this work.
Yeah,
It's
I'm
kind
not-
of
no, I'm
it's
not
kind of
Right.
like, you know what I mean? Like it's challenging.
and then when
but
they
it's
die
quick.
by the time of 45, then they're like, I don't know what happened. I was super happy. I was
Right.
just,
And I was
the
just
stress
working.
got to
I was
you.
just working. I was just working 100 hours a
The
week. But
stress
hey,
got
I
to
was
you.
happy.
That's why you
Right.
died at
But some people-
45.
Wait,
Some
but
people
who's
like that,
narrating
though.
that? The ghost or who's?
But
No,
some-
but I agree
don't
with Carlos on
I don't
that.
think there's anything wrong with that though.
There's
No, no, no,
nothing
there's-
wrong.
Obviously, there's
Nah,
nothing
look,
wrong with
I
it.
agree with
you know,
Carlos.
like if you're
I
working,
agree that there is some BS to call because there's a lot of people that say that and they don't believe it. But I do also agree with Matt because I think there are a lot of people that, whether they were just brought up by that by like their parents or by their grandparents, whoever raised them, because there are people that just love that. And they do love that stressed out feeling because they like that reward at the end of it. Like they'll be okay with being stressed out 80% of the time as long as that 20% of the time is the.
But my thing is, like, I
Fruits
don't
of
think
their
they
labor.
truly look. One example is I just saw the documentary that Kevin Hart did, and he's the definition of that. If you watch the documentary, this dude is working like nonstop.
Mm-hmm.
And he mentions in the documentary that he's happy about it. He's truly grateful. It's not
Right.
even happiness. He's grateful.
I
He's
think
grateful
he's
that
in the
he
grind,
has
though.
what?
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Right, like
But-
he's
but I
grateful.
feel like
he's
in the
humbled by it.
grind right now. Like he may
Right.
look upset and miserable. It looks like that from the documentary.
No, because he says it. He says that
He
he's not.
says that he's
because he-
miserable?
He says that he's not happy with the fact that he can't enjoy the things that he wants to enjoy because it's just work, work, work.
Well, first of
And
all,
guess what?
saying can't is just a lie because he can. He just
right,
wants to
but
work,
that's
work,
but that's
work.
but that's exactly what we're talking about, isn't it?
Right,
We're
yeah,
we're
it is.
talking about that. We're talking about people that it's just 100 hours. They have to do it. This,
Yeah.
that, and the third. They can.
But that's
shut
what.
it
But
down.
you see now that stuff that you mentioned. That's exactly what you're saying. That stuff it's already on book. It's already on the book. So it's like you have to do this. You have to put in 100 hours to be successful. You
No,
have to,
but
I don't.
But do you think it's on books, or do you think that they put that? Because look, any job that you do, right?
I think it's how each person grows up. I think
No,
it's
no,
a little
I
bit
don't.
different.
Do you really think that? Look, let me just
I
give
really
you an
do,
example.
because it comes off of your parents. I think it's genetic. I think that he,
No, of course, it's gonna. He
he's
mentioned
so
yeah
obsessed.
that it came from
He's
his
so-
mom.
He's
Yeah,
so obsessed with making a better life for himself and the people that he loves that
Right.
he's trying to work so hard to the point where he can give back and give back so much that it's just like he wants it to
But
be
look,
a big deal.
let
That's
me
what it is.
let me just give you an example, right? At your job right now, or at my job right now, right? I can put 100% effort. I can be there from whatever time to whatever time, right? That's when they are gonna set the standards. The more that you give, the more that they're gonna want.
Mm-hmm.
If you just give, which there are a lot of people out there that are just giving half-ass work, and they still take it. But the more that you give to a position, the more that they're gonna give you more and more, right? So then it builds into what else? They're gonna make you do other jobs around, and instead of giving you a raise, they're just telling you, well, you know, this looks
Yeah,
good,
no, you're
and that's
right.
what it leads to. So it's not really that.
Yeah, but
it
that's
is
corporate.
that we're all like
That
brought.
is-
You know,
I
some
feel like
people are
that's
brought
a lot
up.
more corporate environment than it is.
That's the society that we live in today.
That is the
That's
society
that's
we live
what it is.
Look, I think
There's so many that I've seen so many positions and stuff that people have lost their jobs, and so it ended up being on the next person having to take care of two different jobs and getting paid for one
that's how it is,
because they're just putting in that.
No, I know it's a mindset, but it's also it's slightly different when you put it to someone who owns their own business and then someone else. You know, it's a little bit different because one's following a corporate structure and they're kind of like a guinea pig, and the other one is more of like the innovator and someone who's pushing forward for himself, and
Right.
he's the owner.
I think
So it's a little mixed, but I see what you're saying from that.
Because
My-
of
my
course,
take-
like
oh,
we're-
no.
Go ahead.
No, yo, my boys got excited over there. Now, my take with Kevin Hart is honestly, I think he lacks feels like he constantly has something to prove. Because I think he is already in a spot where he can financially support people. But I think he
Right.
wants to just prove himself as being such an amazing
Yeah, and he says it.
entertainer,
Yep.
comedian. And I think that
Yep,
just
and
comes
he
from the
says it
lack
too.
of self-confidence. Because if you're confident, like Dave Chappelle, man, he was on top of the world. He got offered all that money and then he said no. He didn't
Right.
take it. I feel like Kevin Hart would have taken it because he wants to keep proving and keep pushing.
Well, he's also younger.
But when
yeah.
you're in that, well, not. But when Dave Chappelle said no, he was young.
Was he?
I think
Yeah.
but Kevin
But-
Hart is also obsessed.
That's what I'm saying though,
He's
because he's
obsessed
so
with it.
obsessed because
Right.
he's still
It's
not content with where
consuming
he's
him.
at.
Yeah.
Right.
He hasn't recognized that
He
he's
said he wants.
made
I mean,
it.
I don't know if you
He's
finished,
killed it.
but he said that he
Yeah,
wants to
I
be a
finished.
billionaire.
Yeah.
So
Who
it's,
said this, Kevin
he said-
Hart?
Kevin
yeah.
Hart said
So
it.
when it's
Yep.
stuck in your brain, that I feel like people get so obsessed with something like that they don't. Time flies by, they don't see it.
Right.
And that's where it comes
Right.
back to. Like,
And a lot of
they
times
say that
you
and
get-
they come back and they're like, "Whoa,
a
what
lot of
happened?"
times,
Yeah.
a lot of times you get caught up in that stuff that it's like, I want to be a billionaire. I want to be a billionaire.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, or whatever number it is that you have. Everybody obviously has different, financial goals or whatever it is, but you kind of get lost. You kind of just get lost in the process, and
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
not really enjoying your life.
Right.
You know.
But is it and now? But now the question is he trying to create happiness for others and people he loves, or is it more selfishness?
No, that's what
I-
he's trying to do.
I think right
create
now-
happiness for others. He
But
wants.
I
'cause
think
his
I
kids-
think he wants.
says it. He says that his kids get to enjoy.
Or is it selfish?
I think it's
It's-
selfish at this point now.
well, it's
Bro,
it's
200, he's
both.
worth
It's
$250
both.
million.
It's
Is
selfish.
he already worth that much?
Well, it's
Yeah.
both. It's selfish that he wants as much money as possible with
He can
to
give
his
back
family.
right now.
Yeah,
It's
But-
just
but they
period.
don't.
Like
But they
No,
don't.
he can.
He
Yeah,
can.
no,
Right.
I
we
mean-
think that he can, but with the lifestyle, it's just
He
like.
has for his friends
But
and his
every
close family. Yeah.
every celebrity that we look at, right? So one example, Will Smith. When he was on Fresh Prince, he was on top of the world. And
mean,
didn't
that
he
man's
go
still on
bankrupt?
top of the
He
world.
still is. But he went bankrupt. A lot of them, they go bankrupt because they just
Yo, but bankrupt again. That doesn't
no,
mean
it
you're
is.
broke.
But some of them do go broke in the sense of like
MC
their
Hammer
lifestyle. Their lifestyle overtakes how much they make.
Probably,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? So that's why Kevin Hart, and he says it in the documentary, that he doesn't want to have the feeling that he had growing up, which was being broke. He doesn't want that feeling. That's why
like I
he,
said, it's like
but-
it's from when he was
right,
younger.
so it's
like how he
both
was raised.
selfish,
It's genetic.
But so I brought that example, not, for nothing, but I'm saying like for us that are, maybe one day we'll reach that, but just being who we are today, it's figuring out the balance of like, don't be crazy about your 9 to 5.
Nah, yeah,
don't
I
be
agree,
crazy
yeah.
about your, in the sense of, look, put in the work from 9 to 5, but afterwards, don't think about that job that is not thinking about you.
No, it's not.
Yeah,
They
no,
don't
it's
care
not,
about
it's
you.
not.
They
They
don't.
don't.
I
They
also
really
think
don't.
it's not comparing yourself to celebrities like we just did.
No,
you know what I mean?
oh,
Like,
for sure not.
But,
No,
but
I mean,
it's- but
obviously.
seriously, it's like don't expect your
Right.
life to be as big
Yeah.
as that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean,
you
you
just have to
can-
accept it.
you
for
And
what it
again,
is.
guys, we're
you
not
can
experts.
100% expect
So
it. You can 100%. Why not? Like,
Yeah, that's
why
a good
not
point,
have
bro.
the
That's a good
high
point.
goal up?
No, you can. I'm not saying
That-
don't expect it, but I'm
Right.
saying you can work for something
Right.
big and you can dream big, but don't
But it's just
don't
knowing to
half-ass
balance it
and then
out.
think like,
But all right,
Yeah.
guys. Again, we're not experts. We just wanted to give you guys our
Nope.
point of views and our ideas in it. Again, to give you realistic opinions on what
Yeah.
happiness means to us. 4 different ideas, and also to just open up the conversation down in the comments below. Give us your ideas on what makes you happy,
And to end on a
Give
good
us your
note, we
ideas
are
on-
happy.
on what makes you happy, and like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Peace.